over then. Okay, so let's try number 2, I guess. From the way it sounds, looks like we didn't have sound the whole time. Nah, I was bullshitting the whole time. Okay, so first thing I'm going to be showing, and let me get the screen sharing going. People have been having issues with tab 3.1. They have no idea how to troubleshoot indicators, so I'm going to go over that just real quick. Again, guys, if you have questions, just pipe up in the middle of it. You can type in chat. I got it open on another screen so I can see it. Alright, so what is this? Let's go to UJ again because I know it had it on there. Okay, so UJ, some of the questions people have had have been about tab. That's the tab 3.1. It's not showing up. If an indicator isn't showing up, and let me get into the journal again. Up top you see terminal. You'll click that or hit Control T. It's going to open up this screen that's down here. Next thing you need to do is down at the bottom, click the journal tab. And then I'm going to add an indicator in. So look at the last thing we have here. It says order closed right here. I'm going to add in tab, and you can see what happens. And this is what I'm looking for when I tell you all check the settings. If the settings are good, check your journal. Are you getting an error? When I add it in, and I'm just going to do it, here's the last entry that we had was an order. It loaded 4 items for 1 indicator. If you're having problems with 3.1, you need to go in there and do that. Did everyone get the Dropbox link that I threw on there and get that indicator? Anyone? I threw a Dropbox links up so y'all could have an indicator that I'm going to show you in a bit. Take that as a no, maybe. Okay. Here, I'll do it again real quick. I'm going to give you all a link. You can download this indicator, and after we go over a couple charts, I'll show you how I'm using it. Dropbox computer. This is the beta version of it, so don't get too excited. If y'all want to try it, give me feedback. That would be great. Okay, it should give you an indicator called alerter. Okay, but anyway, back to 3.1. When you load it up, if you get an error message here, I need to know the error message. All you have to do to send me the error message is either take a screenshot of this or right-click on the line where you are getting an error, do copy, and you can send it to me as easy as that. Yeah, that's the alert for potential trade zones. And that can copy the error. So if you're having issues and you get an error in the journal, copy it to me that way, please, so I can see exactly what it is. Okay, so that covers troubleshooting an indicator, because a few people have been having issues with the indicator. Let me remove it out of there, and we'll start on just the pre-trade prep. Delete. Okay, when I do pre-trade prep, I do this every morning. I start off with something as simple as... Yes, it is. I'll cover it in a bit. For pre-trading prep, I start off with just a piece of paper. If you have Trading Access, in there you have the cheat sheet. The cheat sheet's just basically this. I've just tired of printing them, so I just use a piece of paper. So the first thing I do is whenever I start off is I look at the chart. The first thing I'm going to do is it trending, or, well, write down the pair, so it's cable. If you have the cheat sheet, this will make it easier. But cable, is it trending or ranging? We take a look at it, and it wasn't a heavy trend, but let's take a look at it on Itchy. From what we can see, and we're at the mid of the hour, so I don't know what it's doing yet, and I'm not going to check these again for about an hour. At 9 o'clock is when I'm going to review this again, but as it is now, it's trending. So I just put cable / and then a T for trending. Am I going to look at it for Trading Access trades? No, I'm not. I'm just going to ignore it. What I will be looking for is what it's doing right now. It's doing a pullback decay. I'm not going to get too much into this. It had confluence and a pullback, so would that be a trade? Yeah, why not? We'll come back and look at it in a bit. As for now, the only thing I'm writing down on my cheat sheet or my piece of paper for my pre-trading prep is that it's trending. So it's cable trending. End of story. For trading access, I would not be looking at trades on this. I wouldn't be trying to guess the exhaustion points. I wouldn't be trying to trade the trend. It's as simple as that. I'm going to write down on my paper, cable trend. What's that mean? I will trade it itchy, which you just saw here. That would have been a possible trade depending on how entry goes. Simple as that, guys. Don't fight the system. Trade with what the system does for you. It works well on a ranging market. If you don't have a ranging market, switch to something else. Itchy pullbacks. Works great. Next chart we're going to look at. So on my piece of paper, write down EURO, Euro. What's Euro doing? It's trending. So Euro/T for trend. You can put it on the cheat sheet however you want. Let's look over at Itchy. Itchy, we have nothing close to a pullback yet. K is all the way down here. What's one of the things I do? If it is a trending chart, I'm going to go into my indicators list. Ooh, I had a hiccup. I find my Ichimoku alert. I go into here, and I'm going to turn my alert on. And this is already turned on because I've been waiting for it for a while now. But alerts on Tenkan Kinjin Cross. Alert when price hits purple. I'm sorry, on Kinjin Cross. Alert on price Kinjin Cross. I'm half asleep, and now I'm repeating myself since this is the second time I'm doing it. So I turn on the alert on price Kinjin Cross to true, hit OK, and close. Done. So now this chart's set up to give me alerts if price drops back down to here. Other than that, I don't have my Ichimoku alerts turned on. If you're not trading with Itchy yet and you're new to TA, don't worry about it. We'll get into it. You'll pick it up over time. But this is just my daily setup, so you all can see what I do. I'd mentioned this at the beginning of the video. Turnout's a little bit better now, but like when I show a new indicator, I get like 30 people in here. When I show something as boring as pre-trading prep, turnout's not that great. The pre-trading prep, I guess you could say trading psychology shit, it's more important than the system itself because it's going to actually teach you how to trade and the things that I look for. Plus, it allows you to ask questions, which feel free to ask questions as we go. It allows you to ask questions about, I guess, my thought process, how I do things, or how you do things, and I might learn something from you, you might learn something from me. So even though these webinars are a little bit more boring than let's show a new system or a new indicator, I highly recommend jumping into them just so you can ask questions, because there might be something in there that clicks for you. You get your light bulb moment, and all of a sudden you're hitting 70-75% ITM. Or you might not. It just depends. But come to them if you can, because it'll allow you to see some things I do. Depending on the market, it's going to be different for me each day. Okay, so we've done cable trending, euro trending. What are we looking for? Itchy pullbacks. Pretty simple, no TA trades. Move on to our next one. USD JPY. Now, what I was doing in the previous one was I said I'm going to pretend that this is a ranging market because we've had two trends so far and we had a spike. If it is a ranging market, first thing I write down is UJ, then an R for ranging. Next step is we want to take a look at value charts. How is value charts responding to overbought, oversold? Is it in what I call tapping? Is it hitting like here? Is it hitting 1, 2, 3 times? And did it respond? So here, and I work my way from left, right to left. Yeah, I work my way from right to left. I'm a mess today. Itchy pullback when price touches Kinjin line. You wait for candle close. No. Let's go back to the one that I marked. I wait for price to be under here to take my entry. I try and wait. Okay. If you're newer, yes, wait for the candle close. If you're not, and what my entry goal is below my confluence levels. So if I zoom in on this one, and it's fine, guys. I know this is about pre-trading prep, but if you ask a question about a trade that I would say I would take or how I take it, I will stop and answer them. It's part of the whole thing. The webinars are kind of just like open. If you have a question, ask the damn question. Get it out. Okay, so what my entry would have been is I would have wanted entry under the top of the trading range right here. The purple line would be my worst entry possible. My ideal entry would have been right here under it. Is this a 100% guaranteed trading system? No, because look, it's dropping. So maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. But just looking at it, the only thing that I see, well, it's flat. Honestly, that's a trade I would have taken. The Kinjin's, it's flat. That's for binary itchy, yes. I trade pullbacks on touches here with Confluence. Like this one here would have been major support and resist, and it touched K. That one would have been a bitch to get entry on though, because look at what the candle did. But other than that, we don't have any other trade examples. But this is a trade I definitely would have taken right here. Any questions on that before we get back to the UJ? And we'll pretend it's ranging nicely. Okay, cool. And don't feel bad. Interrupt if you have to. Get your questions out of the way. If you don't ask, most likely you're going to freaking forget, and that's kind of a waste of time for you, everyone. Sorry, cold coffee. It's not good. Okay, so we were looking at UJ. Remember, Euro was trending, so what did we mark trending? Top of the hour, will we go back and review it? Yes, we will. For me, top of the hour is 10 minutes before the end of the hour. I'll start, unless I have a perfect setup, I'll take it. Otherwise, 10 minutes at the top, 10 minutes before the top of the hour, I will pause. I will switch over to my 1 hour charts for Forex. I'll start reviewing them. Once I'm done reviewing them, I'll come back and I will do a quick run through of the charts. And I'll just confirm that either A, they're still trending, or B, they're still ranging, or if it was trending, did it move into a range? So don't stress yourselves, guys. If a chart like this one, if you review it and mark it at trending at 8 o'clock in the morning, don't fuck with it until 9 o'clock. I know that's bad language, whatever, but just don't stress yourself. You should have enough pairs to play with. And if everything's trending for the day, you know what you should be looking for. You shouldn't be looking for TA trades. If you do, you're going to freaking lose. So, UJ, and we got 8:39, so in 20 minutes, if we're still going, I'll go back and review the charts again. UJ, real quick, we're going to pretend it is ranging so you can get an idea of what I do. Mouse on. If you can't bring this up, press the mouse button down, the little wheel, the spinny wheel thing on your freaking mouse. Press it down, brings up the crosshairs. If you don't have a mouse wheel, Control F brings up the crosshairs. From right to left, let's work our way back. First step, let's review ranging market. So I write down UJR. Since it is ranging, I'm going to go in my pre-trading step to the next thing. It's VC. What is VC doing on the chart? On the upper bands, it is... We had our first double tap here, and then a single tap and a single tap. On the bottom, it's single tapping, double tapping. All that means is how many times is it going overbought, oversold before we get a reversal. And it went 1, 2, and then reversal. So it double tapped once. Our previous overbought, oversold tapped once, reversed. On the bottom half of it, I did post that one. That's why I posted that. I actually took this trade earlier, and I barely got it. But it wasn't a full reversal, actually. So just generally from looking at VC now, what can we see? That on the upper half, it's starting to double tap. It pushed up and spiked. What I'm basically seeing is that if I would have traded this trade would have been good. This would have been a fail. So that's 50%. 95% of you would have taken this. If you had taken this, would have been a fail. And over here, this one would have been a win. So we're looking at a 25% ITM ratio by VC alone. So I can write VC 25%. We don't have enough bars on there because I just loaded this up. Next thing you want to do... Shh. Or I boot you. Am I using different chart setups for every time frame? No. This is the same across anywhere. I use TA on one, itchy on the other. So next thing, look, we got VC, so we already know VC's not responding very well on here. We only had one clear, nice reversal. Yes, last chart was different. This is itchy, and this is trading axis. I use both a trading axis, so this is UJ. This is UJ. Two different chart setups. This one is for when I'm doing trending and pullbacks. It also helps me identify spikes. Ideally look for two VC tops. No, ideally you want to look and see what the pattern is. You want to see if a pattern is forming. Is VC tapping twice and then reversing is VC tapping once and then reversing. You just are looking for the patterns on the screen. You're just looking for a little bit of insight into the chart to help you make that decision when it comes. And that's why the cheat sheet that comes with it's for you to write all this crap down. So you can have a little bit of insight until you've gotten good and you've been using the system a while. You should be able to look at the chart and decide in 3 to 4 seconds. The cheat sheet's there to help you out, so you can say, okay, cable, look at your notes real quick. Cable is trending. I shouldn't be touching it. Is it 9 o'clock yet? No, I shouldn't be touching it. I haven't done my hourly review. You can go in and start doing half-hour reviews, but this is just basically, guys, to get you going of thinking of the charts in a logical way, looking for patterns, and seeing what's working and what's not. So step 1 was VC. Step 2, what are we going to look at? If we look at the columns on the screen, here, and let me just take a picture so we can do this easier. I'm going to draw, I don't know, let's draw rectangles. Zone 1, everything with a rectangle around it would be considered, in my opinion, an institutional trading level. So we have Murray math lines, pivots, daily fibos, and we have round numbers and partial round numbers. Dot 500, dot the whole number. Those are your institutional trading levels. First thing we're going to do is, how is the chart reacting to your institutional trading levels? So how do we do that? It's pretty simple. Since you're going to be focusing in on overbought, oversold, we would just hold the mouse down again, pop up the crosshairs, and go back here and look. So here was our first one. And on this one, you'd probably want to go from left to right, so we can review what happened. So here was our first one right here. Now if we, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle the size of the candle and move it off this way. What institutional levels did this candle touch? The only thing it touched was a round number. Did it react? Yes, it dropped overbought, oversold, plus a round number. Reacted. Now, since we're reviewing it, your current market condition indicators will be ignored. Your current market condition indicators are this FIBO here, which is the current swing. These boxes are the FIBO support and resist for the hour. And you have stochastics, and we also have the confirm indi down here. Those are your current market indications that go in, that work with your institutional trading levels. So we're going to ignore the current ones, but what we can say now is institutional level, was it recognized? Yes, and it responded. So you could put like round number, whatever, it looks okay. Next one, we come here, overbought, oversold. Template, let me just get rid of the blue line on there. This stuff, guys, you should be able to fly through a chart in about 2 minutes once you've gotten this down. So our next one, quit with the alerts, would be this candle here. So what did this candle do? Pretty simple. All I'm looking for, again, institutional levels. We had a Murray math line. It hit it and it barely responded. So did it respond very well to that one? No. So we got about a 50-50 ratio there. So VC's looking kind of shabby, institutional levels kind of shabby. Now, again, you're going to come into price action and everything else with this, but this is just, again, to give you a general idea, how is that pair responding for the day? The next one was a run-up, and we can see that it ran and then consolidated. Any questions? This was kind of a crappy chart because the market's crappy. So it's good to learn how to do this on a crap chart, and if we get a good chart, it'll be a good chart. But until then, don't worry about it. Just kind of get the idea of what I'm doing, I guess. Next thing that I do look at, and that was the indi that I sent y'all guys, gals, whatever we have in here. Look for traps on the screen. A trap for me is if I can line up 2 or 3 of these institutional levels together, then you could do that. The indicator I sent you, I have hotkeyed to, I believe, Alt-A for me. And all I have to do is you put it on there. It says email alert, pop-up alert, true. Email alert, don't need it. Go to false, common. And this is the indicator I gave y'all, so pay attention on this part if you want to know how to use it. So email to false, pop-up to true. That's all you have to do is add it on there like that. Now, let's say I want to set, and like I've been showing you guys, a trap. Here's a Murray math line with a weekly pivot. So I'm going to draw that line right here in the middle. To get that to be an alert, you're going to go to the horizontal line properties, and in description, you just type in ALERT underscore and I believe it's and a number. Like that. So exactly like you see on the screen. You can put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever you want. It cannot be a negative, and it needs to be typed capital A, just like that. And that now sets an alert there. You can format the line any way you want, but when price hits that, it's going to say alert number and the pair, and it's going to tell you. And I believe the indicator says it's a trap. That's all you have to do to go as part of your daily review. I mean, if you know that you have a strong amount of confluence in an area, mark it. So if price hits it, you're expecting a drop. That was daily high, weekly pivot, and the Murray math line. Great little trap there. Even if it's not overbought and oversold, if price action confirms it, I'm going to take that trade. Any questions on that? I'm going to show how to do some more. So if you missed it, I'll do a couple more. Okay, moving on. This is AUD USD. Where did you put up the indicator trap? The indicator itself just runs. See, it says alerter. To set up a trap, and let's do it again from scratch. We have daily FIBO 0. We have daily FIBO and a weekly support 1 and a round number all lined up perfect here, right? So I'm using a hotkey. How I hotkeyed it was, let's find the Indy, and I'll show you how I hotkeyed it, because this way you don't have to go in and do this shit all the time. So the indicator is up here somewhere, and this would be a pain in the ass to do. You can leave this indicator on your charts at all times. Here's the indicator, alerter. Remember, this one's just beta because I pulled this out of not compiling. If you have issues with it, let me know. You would go to set hotkey. Now, if you look at mine, it's set to Alt A. So to set it, all you do is set, then pick Alt, and then pick A, and you're good. That means you don't have to open up the navigator button. You can do this to any indicator in your navigator chart. So you don't have to always be jumping into navigator. You can have them hotkeyed. Okay, so I'm reviewing the chart and I see a trap. Then we'll get to reviewing this chart and how it's responding. The first thing, and you can add this in your template, which in mine I removed it just so I could show it. I don't know what that means. Once you've added the, go ahead and type and I'll explain while I'm doing this, and then I'll go back to your question. Okay, so pop-up alert, true. If you trade on a higher time frame, it's easy. You can do an email alert also, but for this purposes, we're looking at bins and setting traps for bins. Pop-up alert, true. Click on OK. Now, from here, you are set. You never have to do anything again. Just leave the damn indicator on there. There are no lines on the chart, correct? The alerter is there. You just have to draw a line to activate it. Can the line be done with it? It can be done with a trend line or a horizontal line. It's about the description. You have to type the line in the description that lets the indicator recognize it. So I'm going to take a horizontal line, and here's where I see a trap. Here's a round number, daily FIBO, and a weekly support. I drew it there. So what's the next step? Double-click the line, right-click it, go to horizontal line properties, and give it a name. And it has to be ALER, capital A, alert underscore number and 2. You can put number 2 on there a couple times, it doesn't matter, but you have to put just like this. It has to be formatted just... Quit your shit. There we go. Sorry, I'm talking to my computer. It keeps freaking spinning. But it has to be formatted just like that. Any number after that. And now when price hits it, it will pop an alert. So you can set your trap there. You can modify your lines however you want. So if you don't want your lines to look like that, I'm doing them like this so you can see them in the video. If you want your lines, whatever, you can make them narrow. You can do them dashed and draw object as background so it doesn't get in the way of your freaking charts. It's there. All it is so that you can set your trap for your alerts. And again, if price hits this level and it's not overbought or oversold, I might consider taking the trap depending on what else is on there. If it's price action, then do whatever. Okay, so let's take a look real quick. Let's say this one is ranging. It is AUD USD. The other indicators that wait till I get to the end of this and I can go into that. Let's see. So this chart is AUD USD. So you just mark it down as AU. The indicators really aren't that important. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm not blowing you off. But any type of trading system, if you're a technical trader, the first thing you need to be able to do is some kind of preparation in the morning. If you're just going to sit down, look at a chart, and be like, whoop-de-fucking-do, I'm going to trade, you're not going to do very well. You need to be aware of market conditions. If you're a pure price action trader, sit down, go to town. So the next thing you're going to do as a technical trader, though, you want to be able to set up basically what you'd call metrics for yourself. You need to be able to judge how well your indicators are performing with the market conditions. If you don't do that, you're going to jump into trades, and you've seen it happen where people using systems just jump in and trade for the day, and they're like, oh my god, I lost my ass today. Well, did you check the charts? Did you see if the system was going to work? If you didn't, you're stupid. No offense to you or anyone in the room, but if you don't do a little bit of homework before you start trading for the day, you're stupid. You're just setting yourself up for failure. So take a few minutes, go through your charts, make a couple little notes. I'm not doing this technical, not fancy. I'm writing this shit down on paper. But it gives me an idea of how the market is for the day, and I just check it every hour to make sure it's still accurate. Again, depending on the indicators you use, develop your own little list so that you can do a pre-trade check and see how the market's reacting. Part of that for me is also checking the news. I come over here every day, and I probably forgot to mention that. We have news coming in 6 minutes. So I know that I should already have stopped trading. This would have been my last tradable. I stopped trading 4 minutes ago. And now go away. There we go. Okay, so we're going to pretend this one is like a lovely little perfect range again, and we're going to go through what I would be doing. First thing we do, value charts. Go through and review it. We had overbought, oversold here. Did it react? Not really. Go back again. Overbought, oversold, so it reacts. So if you're trading only overbought, oversold, we're looking at about 50% so far. Another overbought, oversold, didn't react. That drops us down to what? 2 out of 3, so 33%. That one reacted. So we're back up to 2 out of 2, 50%. Almost one down here on the bottom. It reacted. It touched 8. So we're a little bit better. And this one reacted well. And reacted well. So for the most part, VC or overbought, oversold is reacting above 60% of the time. So on a ranging market, overbought, oversold, right away off the idea here, you just saw that this chart, if it continues the same market conditions, the same pattern it has, you should be able to pull a 60% off. With a little bit of filtering, you might be able to do better than that now. But on your little notes, you can write down whatever, VC 60% plus. It's just basically you're trying to get an idea before you sit down and start blowing your own real money of what the hell the chart's doing. Next thing you want to look at is how's it reacting to levels. That trap we set, look at what it did. Price, when it hit here coming up, we had overbought, oversold. It hit that level, and it plowed through it, so it didn't really respect it on the way up, but on the way down, it did. So if we want to see why, what's the market doing? When it hit that level, it was in an upward. We're in a slight upwards trend, so yes, that's reasonable. It might have ignored those levels, and it wasn't exactly perfectly overbought, oversold. It was like a 6, but this one had already gone through it, so we didn't have any more levels to hit. When it hit the daily open, which is right here, it did react to it. So going upwards, it reacted to the daily level when it was completely overbought, oversold. Coming back down, that's like a wall now. So we know we have a good reason that if price came back down to that, it would be a good support and resist. And we know that these levels are holding when price comes down, but price is shooting back up. Next thing we want to look for is, and just hold the mouse down like I said, this was a trade here. Any confluence levels? No. So the way I trade, I would have just ignored that trade completely. The next one I would have is here. Now what I'm checking is, all I'm looking at is the size of the candle over here. Was there any any what I call institutional levels there. No, there wasn't. So right away, that wasn't a valid trade for me. I would have just skipped that trade. No institutional levels. So right now, what I'm looking at is I'm not getting a shit ton of information, but I know that overbought, oversold is responding well. I know that if price comes down on this chart, that these levels held well, and I know that it's slightly trending up. Getting the idea of what I'm doing, and you should be able to, once you get the hang of doing this or develop your own little system, that you should be able to look at a chart, take a few notes, and then just review it every hour. Like, we have 2 minutes, there's going to be a news release, so we'd kind of ignore the results there unless it's a dead news. If we look at this, so this was AUD USD. So the next thing I do is I have Ichi. What did I say? We had an upward trend. So if it's hitting levels and Ichi showing us an upward trend, you'd want to have a shit ton of confluence before you took the trade, because we know that taking a trade upwards, taking a call would be less risky than taking a put, because you'd be fighting against the trend. So you could also, on your little notes, put, I don't know, C plus for call and P minus for put. Whatever you want to put on there, just to give you a general idea that when you get an alert, if you can't remember all this shit, jump to your piece of paper, look at it, and AU popped and it says put, and you're going to be like, oh, put might not be the greatest because I'm in an upwards trend. Let's take a look and see if I can line up one hell of a reason for a trade. It'll keep your ass out of trouble. You can go more aggressive as you learn price action and you learn how to trade. In the beginning, if you want to, the idea is just basically protect your freaking account. Don't take stupid trades. Get whatever edge you can get. If that's reviewing the charts, which you should be doing anyway, I mean, that's like jumping into the freaking ocean before looking at the weather report and it's 30 degrees out and you're going to freeze your balls off. You want to know what the hell you're jumping into before the beginning of the day. Don't just jump in. Some people that have more experience, it's going to take them less time to do this, but they still, I guarantee you, can tell you what's going on in a chart and what's happening with it. When a lot of people, I ask them, why'd you take that trade? Is it ranging or trending? After they send me their trade, then they say, let me go back and look. If that's your answer, you're going to fail. You need to know what's going on in the chart before you take a trade. News is hitting. Okay, last one I'm going to go over, this is AUD-JPY. This one is somewhat just meandering along. For the way I trade, if you look at it, it's been in no man's land for a good portion of the day. It is still in no man's land. But let's take a look at this one a bit. What's the first thing you're going to take a look at is value charts. Just pop up your little crosshairs. Again, mouse wheel down, Control F. First one we see, it was overbought, oversold. Did it react well? No, so that's one loss. Well, now we have a triple touch. So I'm writing down AJ, and I put a little R, pretending it's in a nice, pretty range, which is not, it's tradable. It's just not a pretty range. And then you can do VC, and let's come up with a general idea of how well overbought, oversold's working, and how often is it going overbought, oversold. So we had a single tap there that failed, so that's not so good. Now we have a triple tap here. It went 1, failed, 2, failed. The third tap, finally, the second tap reverses, but then it went overbought, oversold. I'm not going to get too much into it. It went on divergence on VC also. But we know now that we're tapping more than once on overbought, oversold. Look again, we're starting to go overbought, oversold 3 times. So just from this, and I would say that I bet when we jump to Ichi, you're going to see a nice clear upwards trend. Not a strong one, but an upwards trend. If you had half a brain on this, or you were thinking, so if you're learning to trade or you want to take a higher probability trade, just from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just from what you can see on value charts, if you were looking to take a trade, your higher probability trades would be calls. Puts are tapping more than once. Now if we look down at the bottom, let's review and see if that holds up, and it's probably not. We have a single tap here, dropped. Go down here, overbought, oversold, overbought, oversold, and overbought, oversold. So we're seeing the same pattern on the bottom. So now, are we going to have a preference on put or calls? No. We're getting the same response. What are we getting? It's double and triple tapping. So yes, you could trade it, but the next step is going to be saying, why are we going to take those trades? So yes, it's overbought, oversold. So we know when it goes overbought, oversold on this chart. So I'm going to put VC and then OB OS, and I put like ×2 because I know now when I glance at this chart, the first overbought oversold I see on this chart, I'm not going to jump into a trade. I want to see where it's going to go, and I want to have reasons for it. What's our reasons going to be? So let's go back and look at those trades again. And let me spread this shit out a little bit. Next thing is we're going to look at your institutional levels. How did price respond overbought, oversold to an institutional level? This candle here, if we look to the right, there were no institutional levels for it to hit. It almost hit one, but it didn't quite make it. This candle here didn't have one in it to hit. What I'm looking at is there's one Murray math line to the right. This candle here didn't hit. This candle breached a Murray math line. We did have a previous weekly low hit here. Actually, let me look real quick. Actually, this candle here, let me zoom in. I'm going to take an indicator off for you so we can see what I'm looking at, because it's fricking up my vision. Delete, close. And let me do this real quick so you can see what I need. Give me 1 second. I'm just showing this so that y'all can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. And let me scoot this way over. And again, guys, you can get really quick at this. But here's the deal. This one was overbought, oversold. What did we have? We had a daily pivot here, but it was in the middle of no man's land. So this would have been a no trade. Don't care if it's a good pivot or not. Next one was overbought, oversold right here. This hit last week's high. It hit a Murray math line. We have two solid levels of confluence there. Overbought, oversold. Down at the bottom, stochastics then went above, and I have mine extremely high. It went above 95. And we have a, like I call the current market conditions, the TA confirm highlighted. So if you would have waited by the rules in the book for it, that would have been a good reversal. However you're doing your trading, you just need to see, would have this been a trade you take? Yes, some people might have delayed and taken this one. Either way, it would have been okay. So we can see, generally speaking, that if this one so far, when it hits overbought, oversold, it ignored the daily pivot. It actually had daily pivot in a round number, so this would have been a possible trade, and it would have failed. When it came up here, though, I'm not going to get into price action on this one. Basically, what you're looking at is it failed there, but it respected here. So you're running about a 75% on yes, looking at institutional levels that it's working. Going to the next one, this is AUD JPY. Remember how I said that just by value charts, we know that overbought, oversold is triple tapping. Itchy, when you're looking at it, should give you a pretty clear indication that if you want to take a trade and you're trying to play it safe, you'd most likely want to go with a call because it went from a range into an upward trend. That's basically it, guys. I'm going to do one of these a week. These charts right now are, I would say, a little bit difficult. So if you're a little confused or you're not seeing what I am, don't worry about it. The markets haven't, it's an odd market. The volatility hasn't kicked in like it normally would at this time of year. It's been very tight markets. If you have TA, use the cheat sheets to your advantage until you can get the hang of this and you can look at a chart and judge it in a few seconds, though. Yeah, today was a little better, except I've been doing this for an hour now when I only wanted to do it for 30 minutes. I wasted 20 minutes talking to myself because for some reason the sound wasn't coming out. Any questions from anyone on what I'm doing here, how to use your little cheat sheet that you get, any of that crap? Here, I can unmute y'all if you want it. I'm recording lots, so behave. You can unmute yourself if you want, if you have a normal questions, or you can just type. However you want to do it. If there's no questions, I'm going to try and do these once a week so you can get the idea, because some weeks this is going to really pay off for you, and some weeks it's just going to show that Well, it is going to give you an idea right off the bat that the market might not be the best way. The first step into doing well is you need to identify when your strategy or system is going to work. If you can identify right off the bat that your strategy or system is going to fail, you're already one step ahead of the game. If you can identify it's doing good, and like right now it's 9 o'clock, I would check my Forex trades, and now I'd go back and review. Just run through real fast. I'm going to look at my list and say, cable trending. Is it still trending? Yes. Euro trending. Is it still trending? No. It's ranging. Let's see if the levels are holding now. Did the levels hold for the last hour? Yes, they did. Okay, I'm in. Let's start range or pullback trading it. Otherwise, stick to trend trading.
How many trades did you have today?
I've only had. Let me get that after the webinar. Make sure they have questions. Because I'm recording. Okay, if there's no other questions, guys, that'll wrap it.